Treat the Lord tonight. Amen. Enjoyed the service.
Yes.
We had a wonderful service this morning. Amen. God moved.
Yes, you did.
And I feel like some people got touched.
Yes, yes.
We turn your Bibles to Hebrews chapter 11. I won't be long. We're later than we usually get up, but we're not long-winded, so it'll be okay. Amen. Hebrews chapter 11. Start to verse 1. It says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtained a good report. Through faith we understand that the world was framed by the word of God, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. By faith Abel offered unto God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous, God testifying his gifts, and by it he being dead yet speaketh. By faith Enoch was translated, that he should not see death, and was not found, because God had translated him. For before his translation he had the testimony that he pleased God. But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him." Thank you for standing for the reading. Verse 1, it says, "Faith is the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of things not seen." I thought, no matter what we do in life, it takes faith. You don't realize it, but everything that we do, it takes faith. If you feel like you're going to be a failure, Brother Danny, chances are you're going to be a failure. But if you feel like you're going to win, you might not win the first round, but eventually you're going to get there.
That's right.
I thought I came home the other day, and Kenley had been at the house, and she'd done gone by the time I got there, and I asked Kathy, did they have fun? And she said, "Oh yeah." She said, "She beat me at checkers, and she beat me bad." I said, "Really?" She said, "Yeah, because she has her own rules." She was determined she's going to win.
Yeah.
Amen. But I thought too many times we look at the circumstances around us and we allow them to control our outcomes by simply the circumstance. I thought we got a new piece of equipment in at work this week, and it cost a whole lot of money. And they sent us a blueprint of the machine with all the specs. We got out there and measured where we thought we was going to put the piece of equipment and how we was going to set it up. We had all of that figured out. But nobody thought to measure the door that the machine had come in. And we got it there, and it was about 6.5 inches too wide to go in that door. And so we called Brian McIntosh yesterday, and he came down, and so I spent the day there with him, and he had to cut a couple doors out, make them bigger. But we got it in there. But I said all that because when they got it delivered, a couple of the guys were standing there, and they was looking at it, and they said, "Well, you might as well put it on the truck and send it back, because it's too big to get in there." And I know a lot of times we look at our circumstances the same way. We look at our problems, Brother Bill, and we say we might as well just give up on them because they're too big to take care of. But I thought we forget that we're serving God. I thought if we can have the faith in God that we need, Brother Ronnie, I thought faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. I thought if we've got the faith, we can make it. I thought I read a thing today, and I found it interesting. And I didn't know the guy, I still don't know the guy. But it said from the age of 5, Jerry was the victim of a series of strange and agonizing accidents. While holding an axe, overhead, it slipped and cut a cleft in his chin. While a sophomore in high school, he backed into an electric lathe. When he was 17, he had an accident with a double-barrel shotgun. Both barrels went off, and the load smashed into his right forearm. He chipped a vertebrae in his neck and had to have an operation. He suffered a detached retina. He broke his ankle. A non-malignant growth the size of a grapefruit was removed from his stomach. Holes developed in his intestines caused from a 4-inch slither of wood which had been in his stomach for 12 years. And went on to say his name was Jerry Kramer. Like I said, I don't know him. But he overcame all these adversaries and adversities to play offensive tackle for the Green Bay Packers football team, as he was the 1965 team that won the NFL title and on to win the historic first Super Bowl game the next year. And I thought when you started at the age of 5, with all the things that happened to this young man, you would think he doesn't have a chance. But persistence played off.
That's right.
And like I said, I don't know nothing about football, and so I don't know who Jerry Kramer is, but he obviously did not allow circumstances to control his life. He didn't look out and say, I'm going to be a loser, because at the age of 5, all these things began to happen to me. But instead, he continued on and said, I'm going to be a winner. I thought a lot of times we look and if we're not careful, we will become a victim of circumstance. I thought it's easy for us to allow things to override us. I thought I was talking to Brian yesterday, and we was there, and we began to talk about the drug epidemic and how it affects so many people, and with the work that he works, and even with where I work, I thought we've hired them in there, and them come in on Suboxone and different things, and had to send them home, afraid they were going to hurt themselves, and I thought a lot of those people have just simply become victims of circumstance.
That's right.
They've allowed those things, and they just decided, I'm never going to accomplish nothing. I'm never going to be good for anything. And they allow those circumstances to overwhelm them. And I thought tonight we don't have to allow those things to. I thought simply we just have faith. Just simply have faith.
That's it.
Even if they are against us, you have to have faith. I thought we can read in Genesis chapter 37, the story of how God began to lay out a plan for Joseph's life. I thought he was born and we know the story of how his dad loved him more than he did the rest of his sons. And he made him the beautiful coat of many colors and all the things about Joseph and how he sent him out one day to check on his brothers and they go on and jealousy begins to overtake his brothers. And they put him in a pit with the intentions of killing him. And then they decide not to kill him, so they sell him into slavery. Go back and tell their father a big lie about how he was devoured by wild animals. And then he goes on after he's into slavery, and he's lied on by Potiphar's wife. And then he's put into jail, and then he's forgotten about. After he goes into jail and he tells the dreams, and he thinks surely once he gets out that he's going to be remembered. But he's forgotten about. Here sits Joseph in a jail cell, and no doubt he's just a simple victim of circumstance.
Yes, sir.
He could have lost faith, but not one time did Joseph lose faith in God. He kept his integrity with God throughout all these things. And I thought, and then we go down in the 50th chapter of Genesis, verse 20, and we can read, and it says, and Joseph speaking here says, but as for you, you have thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good, to bring to pass, and it is this day, to save much people alive. And I thought Joseph could have been bitter. He could have been angry. But yet he realized that all the circumstances that was against him, as long as he kept faith in God, that he was able to be an overcomer.
That's
I thought
right.
too many times we are losing our faith in God. I thought it's easy to lose our faith in God. Our faith in ourselves, I meant to say. But I thought we should never lose faith in God.
That's right.
I thought we was out there the other day and we I got a rifle off my father-in-law that was Wesley's and finally found some ammo for it. And we got out there in the yard and we was shooting it. And I set up a couple of targets and set up some clay pigeons, I don't know, about 50, 60 yards out. And you know, and I shot it the first time, really not even knowing how to aim it, didn't know what kind of bead it had. And I shot and I seen it was pretty good. And but not really taking my time, and I set those targets up, and Colin was there with me, and the way he is, I mean, he's always liked guns. And anybody asks me, I've been shooting since I'm 2. Everything he does, he's been doing since he was 2. But he set that up there, and I had those clay pigeons out there at about 60 yards, and I didn't think surely he would hit it. And the first time he pulled off that trigger, he hit that thing right in the center and it blew it apart. And he was so excited. And I thought, and it built his confidence up. And so he grabs it, and the second time he pulls just a little bit too quick, and he misses. And I could see the disgust on his face. And I told him, I said, you've got to take your time. And I thought a lot of times we can do that spiritually. We can have, there have been times, Brother Jim, that I've preached, and it seemed like the Spirit of the Lord just fell all over me, and I was just carried away with it. And then there have been times that I get up to preach, and I've got to press, Brother Bill. And I know it's in those times, if we're not careful, when we're going through those pressing times, if we're not careful, we're looking and we'll blame it on ourselves, we'll blame it on God, we'll blame it on the people for not getting behind us, or just whatever we can find. And if we're not careful, we can allow discouragement to come in upon us. But I thought we can't look at all those things. I thought we can't be on the mountain every time. We'd like to be. But I thought the main thing we got to do is we've got to keep faith in God. I thought we can keep faith in God. I thought we can overcome. Many times, circumstances seem to prevail, but I thought God is still in control. I thought the other day when the water was raising, and we was watching it, and there at my father-in-law's, since I've been in the family, I've seen the water get up pretty high, but I've never seen it where it was at. But I thought we got out in Irvin, and we drove around some, and then some more people got out taking pictures and sending them. And I thought out on White Oak, some of you may not know him, but Larry Stewart, he's run for jailer several times up in Irvin. He used to be partners with my Uncle George up there at the store. And but several years ago, his house, he had a double wide trailer there on White Oak, and it flooded. And so he went in and he spent a lot of money. Well, Danny, he built that up on a basement, and he done a lot of filling in before he even built a basement. And I thought, I got several pictures of people driving by, and I could see the water all around his house, knew it was in his basement. And the trailer beside him that got flooded the first time, they went in there and they fixed it back up. They were living in, I don't know, same people or whatever. But I began to watch as the water began to rise. And I believe it was David had sent me a picture of it, and I recognized his house, and I told Kathy, Sister Kathy, I said, the water's going to get in Larry's house again. And sure enough, it raised, and it got way up in his house, even though he went through all that trouble to get it up. And I thought, and you look and you say, he knew that he was in a flood zone, so he done everything he could to get above it. But the circumstances arose, Brother Rodney, and he got it again. And I thought a lot of times we can do all that we know to do to stay out of the grips, to stay out of the reach of the enemy. But I thought due to circumstances, sometimes the enemy can still reach in there, Brother Harold, and he can take a swat at us. But I thought we still don't have to subdue to the circumstance. I thought we're still able to overcome because we're serving God. I thought we just got to keep faith. I thought we've got to have faith as the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. I thought I'm glad tonight that I know that I can keep faith. Faith helps us overcome. I thought Romans 8:31 says, what shall we then say to these things? If God be for us, who can be against us? I thought faith overcomes unbelief. Ephesians 3:20 says, know unto him that is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us. I thought if we can have faith, we can overcome any circumstance life throws at us.
Yeah, that's right.
I thought we've got to have faith in God. I thought Brother Ronnie Tipton was talking this morning about the guy that he talked to, and he said he was an atheist. And I thought, what a sad life.
Yeah.
Because to be an atheist, really they got to have a whole lot of faith. They don't realize it. But I thought they've got faith that they're able to get through any circumstance that they face. And I thought, I can't. But I have faith through God, Brother Ronnie, that I can. Through God, I know that I'm able. And I thought I faced some circumstances that I sure thought was going to take the wind out of it. But the faith in God took us through. I thought faith emboldens us. Timothy 2:1-7 says, for God hath not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and love and of a sound mind. I thought we can have power through God tonight. As they come against the song, we'll go ahead and make an altar call. And said, the Lord knows how to lay out service. He knows how to take control of things.
Yes, he does.
And I thought, but I thought if we're not careful, we will allow the circumstances around us to cause us and allow them to control our lives. I thought we can't do that because we've got to allow God to control. I thought we've got to allow Him to keep control. I thought, all my life, talking about athletic, I have never been. I was always tall enough in school to play basketball. But Brother Rodney, I was never coordinated enough to play basketball. I couldn't do it. And I thought no matter how big I was, a lot of times I was bigger than a lot of the kids out on the playground. I was usually one of the last ones to get picked for any kind of sport. I don't even care if it was dodgeball. I was one of the last ones to get picked because I was just not sports. I'm just not a sports person. And I thought, so whenever I looked at all that, I thought, I'll never be able to do nothing. But I thought there's some things that I was able to do, they couldn't.
That's right.
And I thought beyond all of them, I look back at a lot of those that were athletic and popular in school. And one of them in particular, I remembered him real well. And I went on and got on drugs. And ended up costing his life when he was just in his mid-40s.
Think about that.
Because of all the things, of the popularity and the sports. And all the things. And owned his own business. I thought several years ago when I had Facebook, I had pictures of him out with all his trinkets and his toys and all the things of this world. But what did it cost him? It cost him his soul.
Think about
It
it.
cost him his life.
Think about it.
And I thought, but I've got faith that if I keep my hand in God's hand.
Yes.
To this world, I may not ever look like I've amounted to much, but as long as I make it to heaven, that's all that matters.
That's right.
I thought, I want faith.
That's right.
I want faith. As they give us a song tonight, let's pray.